Welcome to the Sirens of the Mother podcast, a place where we wax lyrical about all things mother, from the divine to the downright dirty. And it's my pleasure to have you here as we cut through the noise and distortions of our current narratives. Welcome to another episode of Sirens for the Mother, and it is my great pleasure to welcome Dr. Reverend LaTonia Taylor. And I cannot tell you how much it feels a privilege to have you on the podcast. I have witnessed and watched you over time, and I've always felt the power of your voice. And when you came onto my post around the mother and just said, yes, I am one of those, I am a siren, it was like, yes, let me get you on this call. And diving deeper into your work, seeing that you're a mentor, a mindset midwife, an author, spiritual advisor, educator, an ordained minister, and a transformational psychologist. And I love your work around the deeper feminine leadership work that you do in the world, because I feel you call women into order in such a way that it's just so powerful and potent that it opens something really deep and creatively inside them. And I know you've done work out in the world on the bigger scale, and on TV and things. So it's like you are recognized as a thought leader. And this is why I wanted you on the podcast for sure.
Oh, wow.
For sure. So thank you and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's my honor. It is absolutely my honor to connect with another siren.
Mm-hmm.
This journey can be very lonely.
Yes.
When you finally stand up fully in the call from specifically the mother,
Mm-hmm.
when I see another woman is owning that, that's my sister. Period.
Yeah. Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. I think what I find with a lot of the women who have called forward, who are sirens, they've all said the same thing. It is a very lonely path to begin with, because I see that she calls us into order in a way that our message has to be so crystal clear and not indoctrinated by any other thing or any other person. We're not to follow anyone. But when we come together, we create this synergy of her voice blasted out. We each carry a unique thread. And
Yeah.
so I found in the last few months since the beginning of last year that it's escalated, that I'm seeing the women talking from this level and vibration of the mother. And like you said, we are sisters together.
Yes.
It's a really potent, it just feels like a homecoming, and it's like it's about time
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well, because oh my gosh, the journey to embody the full depth of mother is I don't think people understand how deep and gnarly it can get at times as well, because we
Yeah.
are unearthing everything within us, within our lineages, within the collective field around mother. And mother has been so distorted, whether it's we look at it as mothers here planted on earth or mothers as the divine cosmic mother, the whole spectrum, we have to live it through our being. And
Yes.
so it's quite a unique medicine that we're bringing
Yes.
forward at this time. Do you want to speak a bit about how you're bringing that forward in this time?
Yeah. So I was just telling the women I'm doing a sacred Lenten process. And it's like the way that she communicates with me, um, it literally now it's become like if I don't acknowledge it, it makes my work it disrupts my world. It
Mhm.
disrupts my system and my body. And then when I yield to the messages that she downloads into me or the instructions that she gives to me, everything opens.
Mhm.
And I was just telling the ladies that this path chose me. I thought I was a metaphysician. I was good being a metaphysical minister. I was good being a coach. But literally, and then, my mentor is on the national stage. She
Hmm.
is, and being on a national stage, I have never been one to want to do exactly what she's doing. I never try to mimic her. But there are times when even the mother brings us together, things that I know that she told me directly. I'll see it show up in conversations with my mentor. And
Hmm.
and here's the thing. Let me tell you something so funny. I thought it was new and recent once I really devoted myself to the feminine. I
Hmm.
thought I thought that was it. It wasn't. I went back into some old notes and old mentors that I had years ago because my background also includes the Nation of Islam. Have you heard of it in England?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Well, there were two women who were my mentors who are no longer
Hmm.
here. One is Mother Tainetta Muhammad. She's
Mm.
the wife of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Well, I used to spend time with her. I would do security for her when I was in the nation. She was the one. They were taught, and the other one is Dr. Ava Muhammad. They were talking about the presence of the mother, the divine feminine, the presence of her and her sacredness, even then. But
Mhm.
because of religion, I didn't hear it. But the seeds and the deposits have been planted from her. I got chills when you were talking, and I'm almost in tears saying it. That's how deep I feel the connection to this.
Mhm.
I feel that my life is devoted to this. And
Mhm.
so that's how deep it
Yeah.
runs for me.
Yeah. I don't think we can't be anything but devoted because, like you say, when we get to a certain level, if we don't follow those directives, it's like the discord and dissonance in the body. It's like it's just not worth it anymore. It's
No.
like you have to be on the path when it
Yeah.
comes to the mother's wisdom. And
Yeah.
like you say, I've really noticed over the last few weeks that, like you say, that these seeds were dropping like almost invisible to me. I didn't recognize them for what they truly
Yes.
were until like quite recently, that it's really become an embodied like wisdom. Like it's not new, but it is being reformed in a new way onto
Mhm.
the planet now through the sirens that are coming through now. That's
Yeah.
how I
Yeah.
truly, truly feel it. Um, and with the women that I've spoken to before, it is such an embodied, visceral way, as in when we speak, we are literally changing the fabric of the collective field and the universe. It is that direct, like
Yeah.
connection with her and the sense of, like you said, devotion. Yeah, it's like I can feel like the wave of just like it's almost like exuberant joy and just tears of like humility that want to pour through because it is just a real a real rebirthing
Yeah.
into being.
And
Yeah,
that's the name of my ministry is Rebirth. And
yeah.
because I thought it was because I rebirthed so many times in my journey,
Mhm.
that I started out, I'm from the southern United States, the South is what we call it.
Mm.
And I thought that I was rebirthing from the Southern girl mentality, the old religion, and reinventing myself. It's so much more. I
Mhm.
sometimes I want to change the name. That's how much I rebirth. I'm like how much I get called to rebirth something. I even now in the rites of passage process, she'll tell me, no, no, we're done with that because I wrote a book called My Juicy Rebirth.
Yes. Yeah.
And from that book, that was my signature program. Juicy this, juicy that, juicy, 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 juicy. But juicy stands for so much more. Women would come to me for the spiritual aspect. I mean, excuse me, for the sensual and the orgasmic aspect.
Mhm.
And when I would get in and do the deeper work, that's where I would discover how many wounds and fractures and different things that we have that keep us from being embodied.
Mhm.
And then, and all I would always do my work. And so I've gone through several different types of initiation, but the last initiation was a total rebirth for me, a total immersion. And my mentor would say, they may not want you to do that work. And I'm not, okay, what does that mean? It took me 3 years to hear and to walk through my initiation path to be clear. And she's told me, no, we're not ever letting go of Juicy, but it's time to expand beyond it. And so it's like it's,
Mhm.
how there was a season where so many women were talking about sexuality openly and owning their sexuality, and now you have the young millennials coming out doing their, and they monetized it. They're around
Mhm.
sensuality, sexuality, and power, and all of that. And
Mhm.
yes, we need that, but it's more than that. It's
It's
deeper than
yeah,
that for us,
it's yeah, and
especially
it's
melanated women.
yeah, and it's so ironic. As in, my path was tantra, so I was
Me too.
all about the juicy. And I can remember working with a client and the voice of her booming in me and going, "This will be your last client." I did not know who that voice was at first, but I thought, okay. And it was just an unraveling, as you say, of you cannot do that work anymore in that way. It's not that
Yeah.
you're letting it go, but it has to reform because the
Yes.
way that empowered sexuality of women has been, like you said, commercialized,
Yeah.
pimped,
Pimp,
um,
pimp.
pimped out of the feminine. It's just another way of pimping out the feminine. All
Yes.
this juicy, like, pleasure power. And it's like, no, no. The bell is like being rung. It's like, no more. We need to shift track because it has just become another avenue for the sensual, sexual, potent energy of the feminine to be extracted from. And
Yes.
so, like you, I had to unravel a whole thing and like thinking, well, what am I going to do? What am I supposed to be doing? And it's taken me this long to really, like you said, get into the roots of that sensual,
Hmm.
deep, I still call it pussy power and I still like connect to the womb, but it is like it is in the core and it's connected to heart and it's connected to throat because we are
Yes.
here to use it in a way to change the fabric, not to entertain, not to glorify ourselves, and not to hide
Hmm.
behind the structures of sensuality being a commodity because it's not. It's not. It's
Exactly.
a resource of
Yes.
of our feminine nature,
Yes.
and it's not to be.
Our relationship with our physical pussy
Yeah.
is the beginning.
Hmm. The beginning.
That's why I call it the portal,
Hmm.
because when you get beyond the surface level, she holds so much wisdom, guidance,
Hmm.
medicine for us.
Hmm.
But it really is, when I'm working with women, there is no pussy power without atonement with the mother.
Hmm.
So it connects you with your earth mother, right? But she too is just a representative of the great cosmic mother. She is
Hmm.
just your physical mother, is just a representative, but she can be a block. Because if you don't deal with that mother wound, the fracture, the whatever her limitations were, you will stay right there at the level of just sensuality,
Yeah.
but not sense it, like your senses being gateways.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
what the way I see it, at least. That's the way she speaks to me.
Yeah. To me, the senses are like they have the same force as the elements. That's how it feels to me when they
Yes,
move through my body.
yes,
Because they are connected directly into the fabric of life. And this
yes,
is the thing, it's like it's not just an embodied practice. You
yes,
become a vessel for
yes,
life to pour like through you because these like places on our bodies, our pussies, our wombs, our throats, our hearts, just all the orifices of a female body are portals
yes,
to
yes,
the reality of the connection back to the source of mother. And
yes.
this is the thing, it's like we have to go back beyond the superficial,
Mm-hmm.
um, just realization of connecting to our sensuality. And I think, like you said, there is a place now where we've done this, we've been doing this for a long time, getting into understanding that level that we are sensual beings as women is just the beginning. It isn't the
Yes,
whole picture. It is just the beginning because we ultimately have to transform, like you said, all the things that we've been carrying in our structure, in our lineage collectively for millennia to
yes.
do around the mother wound because we are all suffering from the cutting off of the mother
In the
from
collective
life.
consciousness. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. It's really deep and it's so beautiful to hear when people are talking like that because it's like yeah, I'm kind of over it. I'm over the glitter and the glam.
Yeah.
Because we are needed as women now to step up into full embodiment, full multifaceted being.
Yes.
And I know you do a lot around that with the women that you work with, because like you said, the mother wound is is a gauntlet we all have to go through to get to the other side.
Yes.
So do you want to say a bit about how you work with women around that a bit more?
Sure. So, I consider my work multi-purpose or multi-layered because um yes, I've been on the national stage and that type of thing, but I one of the things that I consider is my ministry is rites of passage.
Beautiful. Mhm.
Juice, I was reborn out of rites of passage through the feminine, the divine feminine work. And I was reborn through a womb that did not look like me, in a womb of women from all walks of life, 250 women from all walks of life. I was the minority in the room.
Mm,
And even though I had been through so many other rites and experiences with my mentors and other um, workshops and that type of thing, what I found is melanated women, particularly in the United States, focus and are indoctrinated to focus on pain as a reason
yeah.
and motivation to heal.
Hmm.
So when I came with the message of pleasure, 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 there was a lot of resistance. In other words, the very women that I love and have devoted myself, my work to, they have to be convinced. And so it's the way I started, sis, is another minister in more of a traditional minister had invited me to have a session in her conference. Let me tell you
Mm.
what happened. Everybody got a chance to sign up for the table that they wanted. My table was the pleasure, sensuality, the power of pleasure, I think it was. Only a few people came to my table. She stopped the entire workshop
Mm.
or the conference. She said, "Now let me say this," because she is very much entrenched in the church and all of that, was a pastor and all of that. And she said, you all come to us and you whisper about your orgasm, your sensuality, you wanting to attract a man, and now here's the opportunity, but you are so heavily indoctrinated that you're afraid of what people will think about you if you come to
Mm-hmm.
the table. By the time she finished, everybody was coming to my table to the point they had to move me out of the main area into another area just so I could fit, and I still had to turn women away. That's the level of resistance and pain the Black American woman has when it comes to this type of return to herself.
Mm-hmm.
When I had my experience, I wasn't in the room with my sisters. And
Mm-hmm.
that was a gift for me because I saw and felt the power of mother in a way that transcends color and economics. It was people from all walks of life and all ages.
Mm-hmm.
And but in that moment, I vowed to bring it to women who look like me, to
Yeah.
remind them that they are the Holy Grail. And
Mm-hmm.
so from the workshops became a whole process to a full rites of passage, a 6 months rites of passage, a consecration, and then also it's still taking on new shapes and forms to include our economics and our money, our
Mm-hmm.
relationship with money. Because what I find is a lot of times with women who are single, the head of the household, or when life happens, the first thing that they check out of is themselves. They check out of their feminine work or the tools that we've learned along the way. They check out. They disappear. They shut down. So I've had to continue to expand as I've grown as well and matured, and as spirit continues to reveal things through me. So I am so committed to rites of passage for women. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes women need to do it more than once because the first time when they come in, there still is a little bit of a shield. Okay, I don't know. And, you know, then this, start to pop and open and bloom and then make the association because most of our people still are so indoctrinated to be afraid of God that they can't embrace the fact that I am God. I
Yeah.
am goddess. I am source. I
Mm-hmm.
am the physical representation of the divinity that is the great mother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I hear you on that. The religious indoctrination really stifles Black women
Yes.
in the community. It's the same in England as well.
Is it? Is it really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember writing about exactly that we are God divinity and we are um, you know, the power that comes from the feminine body and doing a seminar on that with a Black publishers. And do you know, it really touched me in a way that the women listened, but you could feel I could feel the fear in in the room, but me being so open got them to talk. But some women hadn't even looked at their own bodies,
That's right.
and it was like it coming from the world that I do. It was a shock to me that they couldn't even look at their own bodies, or they had to have permission from a
Mhm.
pastor or a husband or something to look at their own bodies. And I was just like, wow, this is deep. This is really deep because for some reason, I also find that, yeah, sexuality in the Black community has been hyper distorted.
Mhm.
Um, and there is a lot of like negative connotations around it. And it's like that's one of my missions to kind of change that narrative that it is a God-given right to be in your full erotic orgasmic power and body. And it's not about physical sex, it is about reinstating the full power of who you are in the being. And as you say, for me, it's like going back to the original blueprint
Yes.
of being a full embodied Black woman.
Yes.
It's essential. And like you, I didn't have my awakening with my around my own sisters, and now listening to you, I think there was a reason for that because it would have been too challenging
Yes,
to move through so many of those layers,
yes,
and being restricted on being afraid to offend elders or whatever it is. And now it's like, no, this is real embodied wisdom. It needs to come back. It needs to come home.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yeah. The,
yeah.
you know, and I find her everywhere all the
Hmm.
time. I even in doing this Lenten process, I had stopped doing Lent because of the association with deprivation,
Mm.
suffering. You know, when you come from a lot of different religions that focus on fasting, 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 you know that it's very familiar to you, right? And so you tend to develop this relationship model with God that I have to give up something in order to
Hmm.
receive something. Through me working with the feminine through pleasure, I've had so much transformation and change in myself that I found that pleasure invites just as much transformation. So I would add things, during this sacred season in preparation for the spring equinox, which is also representative of us.
Hmm.
And do you know that as something popped in and said, did Lent come from? More than just, I know what it symbolizes, right? I know all of the
Hmm.
ancient symbols, the egg, the bunny, even the cross, given all of that. Jesus really being the Christ consciousness of love and it really being a woman. But anyway,
Mm.
that's the thing. But I go, right? Listen to this. The origins of Lent are deeply
Hmm.
rooted in ancient Rome to traditions, particularly those associated with the Matronalia
Oh, wow. Oof, chills.
or the Feast of the Mothers.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness.
Do
Oh,
you know how
wow.
long I've been practicing this and doing this? And Mama dropped in and said, here's where I came from, the Feast of the
Oh,
Mothers.
wow. It is so interesting because I was having a conversation with someone yesterday around rewriting the codes of Rome because they've been distorted. And again, like and you saying that it's like, of course, of course it is to do with the mother, or else why would it come up, right?
Exactly. I know. You're so right. But of course, because it's so symbolized by the goddess of fertility and
Hmm.
potency. And women in that in what they call pagan societies would have festivals where they would select their mate and they would and it wouldn't necessarily be their husband
Hmm.
based off of what they want, what energies they wanted to manifest on the earth. They would choose their mate, and if it wasn't
Hmm.
their husband, it would be someone else. But it wasn't about that. It was about creating and pulling down cosmic energies into the earth through a child. And what I also find, Coco, I don't know about you, but I also find this, just tell me if you see this. A lot of women who are called to this particular path in this way to be a siren don't have any physical children.
No, I don't find that because I have physical children and quite a few do. However, I can see where that comes from, as in we are learning to birth creation through us. So many don't have physical children who are sirens. But for my particular thread, I had to have, I was shown I had to have children because um, of the lineage and the ancestral clearing that I had to do around having, like,
Wow.
yeah, the children in like the family. Um, yeah, it was quite profound and deep. And also like yeah, bringing that to closure almost. Bringing that to closure because it's like as the women have gone down in my lineage, the children have got less and less and less.
Exactly. So that's what I
Yeah,
see. Is
yeah,
less. I'm at the end of the less. And so
yeah.
I do my genealogy, I see the more. you know,
Yeah.
like loads and like children.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
it was through plant medicine that revealed that to me
Hmm.
because I deeply wanted to be a mother in the physical, and when I started to communicate and pray at the womb
Hmm.
level, like speaking into my womb, that's how my book was born. She would speak back, and then I
Hmm.
would call on the names of my mothers in my line, and they would begin telling me. But then when I then now this is over a period of years I'm talking, right? Then finally, when I get to plant medicine, which is the mother, right? Ayahuasca represents the mother, but so does psilocybin. So in the plant medicine ceremony, she tells me, you didn't have children in this lifetime because you had so many before. And in this
Mm.
lifetime, I wanted you to be available to return the hearts of the daughters back to the mother.
Hmm.
I have literally, it was my marching orders. I stated, I still get chills every time I state what she downloaded into me. Do you know that I had been struggling a little bit because I felt I found my soulmate, and he sparked in me that desire to want to have children again because it had
Hmm.
been a fence, it had been dormant. And so I had an ache in this ceremony when she revealed this to me. All of it went away. It was
Hmm.
never, I never felt the story and never, no infertility talk, none of that, because she told me, you're not
Hmm.
infertile. And the doctor said, you're not infertile. You can get
Hmm.
pregnant. But mother said through others, you have to get pregnant with yourself and teach other women how to get pregnant with themselves so that they can read.
Hmm. To rebirth themselves, because we are the epitome of mother, as in we are learning to embrace mother in a way where we learn to mother one another and
Yes,
teach each other what mother actually is, that it is a creatrix portal that
yes,
brings in like cosmic information, like you said, that we talk to our bodies, we talk to our wombs, and they talk back.
yes.
My book was also a bit like talking, having mother talk to me, but also having to ground it through my womb to bring it earthside because of the medicine that it is for the world. And it's like, I want women to understand that their wombs are not just here for procreation.
That's right.
Their wombs are not just here as something that's an annoyance that they bleed every month. It
Yes,
is a portal to the whole cosmos. It is a micro of the macro of the cosmic womb. And they
yeah,
need to understand that they are needed right now to birth the new world. This is what the birthing process is. This is what it is to be a seedling for mother, to
yes.
have her essence and energy birth through us
Hmm.
onto the planet as women. Women have such an important part to play in this collective field. And I really want to talk about, yeah, what it means to be a full embodied, multifaceted woman, because right now on the collective, I'm just feeling a little, I can feel when I start getting agitated that is because there's a new level of understanding that wants to be birthed. I get frustrated. It's like I can just feel this edge. And the edge that I'm feeling right now is that so many women are still stuck in fear of outside forces, patriarchy,
Yes,
whatever they want to say that it is, that they've not had the capacity to do something, that they have to live in fear as women on the planet. And that is just an indoctrinated program. Because if you understood what you were as woman, you'd understand that you're an initiator.
yes,
You
yes,
are the initiator, and there's nothing that can have power over you because you are a seedling or a drop of the ocean of the full cosmic womb, and that lives inside us by the
yes,
very fact that you birthed a woman.
yes.
So it's like we need to switch tracks now with and get out of this that something is happening to us
That
or
part.
outside force, and that we are the ones that are creating the reality. We are the
We are the creatrix. We are
yeah.
creating this reality in the United States. Just recently, as you all probably have been witnessing, 92% of women were mobilized to vote in this presidential election. That's where I felt the irritation because they
Mm.
were used. They were used
Hmm.
as Black women are often used to be the rescue, to be the salve, to be the solution, and then discarded. But if 92% of women, if 9% will remember who they are, we would
Hmm.
have the installation of the new earth.
Hmm.
This old mind, this patriarchal, ego-centered, nefarious energy could not exist. But because
Hmm.
we have amnesia, we are looking at 92% that have amnesia. They're onto it in a little way, but feminism is a trick. It's very much in the way that we've heard it, feminism can be tricky because in America, they did not consider Black women when they started their movement. Black women were not considered because Black women were the center of their families. They had cooperation with their husbands, Black women in that time. Their husbands didn't treat them like white women's husbands treated them. So the movement wasn't even for us initially. We jumped on the bandwagon and demanded to be included. But I love writers, womanist writers like Alice Walker.
Hmm.
Alice Walker told the story of womanism and why womanism and not feminism. And the way she laid it out was so eloquent. This is how I know what I know. But then you have other authors like the Reverend Dr. Renita Weems, who are transforming spaces where they are. So, the temple, the mosque, the synagogue, all of these places are representative of that womb. And she has been the one that has been sacred. But when so many of women are still looking for permission from
Hmm.
institutions that do not love them,
Yes.
looking for demagogues to
Hmm.
approve of them when you are the goddess,
Hmm.
looking for to embrace me, give me a place, and doing it in such a masculine energy that I do you know that that women were clinically depressed after this election?
I did not know that.
They were
I can
depressed.
imagine though, because when you, like you say, give your essence and energy to an outside force like that, like they're governing you, or the sky daddy, whether it's sky daddy, whether it's daddy government, whether it's
Yeah.
daddy, like feed me, like tell me what to do, like give me a place, like you say, it's like, no. You don't demand a place. You don't even have to fight when you're a woman in your full embodiment. You are radiant. You attract, you are magnetized, you draw what you need to you. There is no fight. There is nothing to fight. You cannot fight an outside force like that and like demand what table do you want to sit? Why would you even want to sit at that table? It's
And
like
be fed poison.
you are the table. Do you know? Hello? Come back to the room. You are the table that you
Right.
are demanding what you want by being in your full essence. When I see women outpour their energy and essence and resource to that, I just think, what are you doing? It's like, it's such a drain of your feminine resource. You have to value it as you. You have to know the value of you as woman. There is
Yeah.
no there is nothing else that needs to go on top of that.
Right.
And
But when we
do you
talk
know what I
about
mean?
the women who look like us but not like us, Kendrick Lamar not like us. Because there are still women who look like us. They have the microphone, they're in the front, they're talking women's empowerment, but they are agents of the patriarchy.
True. Yeah.
We have to deal with that because it's confusing those
Hmm.
women who hear the call, but they respond to the loudest voice in front of them oftentimes. And that's why I'm so excited about the sirens of the mother, because there's so many other voices that have been muted
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
you have representatives in political spheres, in theological spaces that are still disassociated from the full embodiment of who she is. Otherwise,
Hmm.
we would have whole churches dedicated to the Black Madonna because that's whose feet that the Pope goes to kiss. And
Hmm.
and we don't know it. Why does the Pope go to kiss the feet of the Black Madonna?
Not just the Pope, I think the whole of the Vatican
Well, the whole thing,
is
the whole Vatican,
the
yes,
Black Madonna, because hello, there's a reason for that, because
yes,
they understand the power of that,
yes,
of the essence of the Black original codes of woman
the original
that
code.
come through.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
I'm
Black
feeling
Madonna.
led to share this with you and your audience because it's good to give honor to ancestors and I don't know if she's an ancestor. I've been trying to actually get in touch with this woman. I had gotten in touch with her, but we have had other sirens. And I would love one
Please.
day, Coco, for us together to do some type of ceremony where we call on the sirens who spoke, who have been unsung.
Hmm.
Because this woman here, you think I'd hold up my book, but it's not. This is the woman,
Can
Dr.
you bring it forward a little bit? I can't.
the
Oh.
great Black mama,
Oh, wow, I don't know that, but who's it by?
Dr. Suzar.
Ah, yes, Dr. Susan.
Have you heard of her?
Yeah,
Mhm.
only briefly though, but yeah.
She breaks it down, every word, every code, every number, every title that we've ever known, and used loosely, but she is a powerhouse.
Hmm.
And there have been other sirens before us.
Yeah,
Just that's why I spoke Mother Tynetta into the space because they've gone on. And I just believe we're in a season where we will not be unsung, right? We will,
no.
yeah,
There is I'm seeing at the moment in the collective a very distinct um like two camps. Those that can hear the siren call
yeah,
and are really unmovable now. It's like we will not be moved. We will
no,
not sing our song, no matter how it sounds to anybody else. It
yes,
will be sung.
yes,
And then there's those that are hearing it, but it's also shaking them up because it's rubbing up against all the distortions, and it's like they hunger for it, but they're also afraid of it
yes,
because it's so clear and potent. And unfortunately, in the collective, we've been so bamboozled as women to like take everything in and listen to everything. Every opinion has a point. And it's like the confusion. And it's like, no, there is only one, for me, clear channel of woman and feminine and
mm-hmm.
mother. All these other things that we get taught to be accommodating as a woman, and we have to be kind and we have to be nice and we have to listen, and it's like, no, we don't. And these have been so imprinted in that, yes, sometimes I know the siren's voices can rub up in such a way that it is confronting, and I'm
Yes.
really seeing that in the collective right now. And it's only made me want to speak more.
Really? I have teetered and tottered because I feel the frustration in the collective here, particularly in the United States. And sometimes I have to be careful because I definitely have the mothers that walk with me that are fire.
Yes,
Could
true.
burn.
Like,
I could go. So a lot of times I'm very careful about what I say
you
on
are
the public platforms because everything is not for everybody. And
true.
and so
Hmm.
I don't cast my way of self-care is I don't cast my pearls amongst swine on the social
True.
media platforms. If I say enough sometimes so that if your bell is rung,
Mm-hmm.
you come, because I think
Yeah.
that there's some power in answering the call. For
Yeah.
a long time, I would pull women, pull, come, can't you see?
Mm-mm.
Uh, Can't you see? Stay with it, stay with it. And those would all they would always run. But I would say that the mother is sending me another woman, another type of woman now that's ripe and ready.
Ripe and ready. Oh my God, it's so true. I said this yesterday.
You did?
I am so done with like you said, the pulling and like pulling. It's like no, it's like the bell has been rung. If you feel it, it's like the women that come are so ready to transform
Yes.
because they know this is the call that they've been waiting for. And
Yes.
so it is a very different feel and a very different because ultimately it's meant to be easeful. We weren't meant to struggle or fight or have to, grab to get the truth of our essence. It's just not
Mhm.
the way, the feminine way at all.
Yeah.
We are the the magnetizers. We are the ones that, like you say, people come and it is almost like behind into a sacred space, into a temple. They know that that's where they're coming to be in reverence
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
also to be revered.
I'm so grateful that you said that. I felt that through me as confirmation,
Mm,
because one of the things that I had been in resistance to was this thing called ministry, because I didn't want
okay.
it to look like the traditional.
Hmm.
And then I thought that I had heard to open it up, include families, because our families and becoming and knowing your role, I call it the Queen's piece,
Hmm.
chessboard. But then once again, that correction came from her, and she said, no, lead with me. This temple, I called you to build it. And so now my ministry is
Mm,
absolutely devoted only to it's a women's ministry, not a adjunct ministry in a church. No, this is a soul source where we are coming to turn the hearts of the daughters back to the mother through. I mean, you can
mhm,
do anything else. You can be in any other religion, but this is our spiritual food, our way, our medicine, and all of that. And so I have fully committed to building that. And you just saying what you said in terms of a temple, that was, I've
mm.
heard it before. I'm in that room of 250 women. I'm sitting there one day and I'm having breakthroughs from my process, but then I'm hearing her. And then one day the translation of scriptures came. I don't even remember the scripture right now, but I stood up and I had to speak it. I was trembling the way that I heard it. The woman who was sitting behind me or to the side of me is the renowned author, physician, Dr. Carolyn Northrup. Are you
Oh
familiar?
wow. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Bodies, Women's Wisdoms.
Yeah, yeah.
After I spoke, the tremble was still there. She said, if you have a church, I want to be a member.
Oh
That's
wow.
the kind of church that I want to be a part of.
I have got shivers. I
So
have got
moments
shivers.
like that, and that was almost
Mhm.
I've been with maybe 12 years ago.
Oh wow. I'm going to thank you now, LaTonia, for saying that because, like you, I've been putting off building the temple, and because it's like, who am I calling? What, I'm not quite sure who I'm calling. Um, who am I to say I'm holding, ministry or having a temple or whatever? But I keep hearing you need to call the oracles, you need to gather the oracles, you need to gather the oracles, and you need to do it now. And so, just in the last few days, I've come to this notion of yes, it is ministry for the mother, and it is on mission for the mother, and it is bringing them into sacred space to remember and unfurl from everything that is not of her,
Yes.
and being total devotion to her. And I've really had to step up over the last few days of like, there is no other path now. You know, before I was like looking, well, maybe of it, or maybe I can add this little. It's like, no, there is nothing to add, and there is nothing else to fight. It's like, just do the thing, and do it
And
now.
it'll reveal, the path will unfold
Yeah.
as you walk it, right? You absolutely have my support. I do think that a part of this journey, we have to close ranks around each other.
Hmm.
I have been a siren for that, but few are as devoted as
Hmm.
you and I would be. We may have women around us, but they're still getting to that place, and we need each other. We need spaces to speak like this,
Hmm.
understand each other, because it's a language, it's an energy,
Yes.
it's a
Yes.
rhythm, it's a frequency, so we need space
Hmm.
like this.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And this is the thing. I feel like since, you know, that call to start this podcast and like who to bring it in, like feel the threads of who to bring, because it is so important. Because what I've realized is it is synergy. As we speak together in this language, it creates the reality. It creates the new mother matrix as I'm seeing it.
I said,
And yeah, I distinctly got told the other day there is no more explaining. There is no more like answering like willy-nilly questions. There is no, you are a transmission. I am the message. And
yes,
that is it. If they hear the message, they hear the message. It's not to be explained. It's not to be
yes,
whatever, because it dilutes it then. And so there is a specific language. And when I was saying before, what I've found over the last few days, this pulling it apart of distinct camps, as in you understand the language or you're beginning to understand the language.
yes.
There is a difference.
Yes,
And because, you know, like you were saying before, if you're not on path, it's really discordant in the body.
yes,
If I am talking to someone and they're not attuned to that now, it is like someone's scraping fingernails down a chart. It's like, oh, that's not the clear channel. That's not the alignment of the mother. That's not what I'm attuning to. And so I've really had to have discernment around what I allow in now to keep the channel clear, but also what happens in conversation. And
yes,
I feel quite privileged now, as I've been doing these podcasts, to be gathering the women that I can just speak freely with without explaining a word, because it's not, her word is not to be explained. And that's not like putting her above all else, but she is the sound of creation. That's not like me trying to be a big head or what. That is just true. She is the sound of creation. And
mhm,
that's what we attune to.
yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. And it's so refreshing. And I'm so glad that the algorithm allowed me to see your posts in the first place. Because, when you talk with depth, that's not high on the algorithm's list. If it's not drama, confusion, and all of that, sometimes it's, so I knew in that moment. And when even when I posted, I said, "Oh God, I hope she doesn't think I'm here trying to self-promote." And you received me, and you received it, and it sparked.
Hmm.
And so, and
Yeah,
I've seen your work too. I've seen your writing. I've commented, liked, or whatever before, but I didn't know that you were a sacred siren.
yes. It was like my coming out party. As in, because it's like, you know, mother's like, you can't, like she says, you can't just be like saying it to these few people over here. It needs to go out now. And the sound needs to go out because we, like you said, we need to come together now. We need
Yes,
to build um and as we speak, as I've said before, we are changing the fabric of the collective field. And it feels absolutely amazing to be at that point of vibrational frequency going
Yes.
out into the world and knowing that this is what we came for. This is what all this training, this is what all this, trials, tribulations, initiations, depth of deep diving, being dragged out of your body, all sorts of things that you've had to go through to get to this point. It
Yes.
was to get to this point.
Mhm. It
And
was,
this is what we came to do.
yeah. And she continues to reveal. There's so many rewards and benefits.
Hmm.
Sometimes it does take some discernment and knowing when to just listen and let her guide, order your steps on where to speak. Because sometimes even when I'm with families, I can see and hear how deep the rabbit hole goes through the mother,
Hmm.
because of the mother, in families and what could
Hmm.
heal. And usually it's the ones closest to you. So as I do the work of genealogy and really I see that they even speak through that, through you can
Hmm.
see all you got to, because your genealogy is so determined by your matrilineal line, that when you look at the stories of the mothers of a mother, you can see where sometimes the disconnect starts and that type of thing as well.
Hmm.
And what I find in spiritual work, when you know that, you're able to call their names, and
Hmm.
it creates a sacred atonement. And if you don't
Hmm.
know the name, to know the tribe, to call that forth. And even when I do that, sis, when I go to the indigenous tribes of America, they were woman centered, they were mother centered. It is not new, it's forgotten.
It's forgotten, and this is a great remembrance. And our benevolent ancestors are waiting for us to hear them and
Yeah,
call their name.
yes,
And I had such a beautiful experience a few months ago where I went through the lineage, back, down to the first woman of my lineage. And she gave me her name. And oh my God, it was such a moment. But also because they carry the medicine, they've been
yes,
holding the medicine for us to reclaim, to bring it back in this time. And having that deep conversation where my soul was in the village of those women and seeing where that I originated from and that the medicine they've been holding for me to carry forward at this point, it was like one of those moments when you realize that, oh, I'm fully initiated now into because I've been let in to
yeah,
see the secrets behind the door. And I can really claim myself as a siren and a mystic and a holder of the medicine,
yes.
as medicine woman. And just the other day, I got the clarification around because I was still hesitant around siren because there's a lot of collective stories about sirens luring people to their death, blah, 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 all that nonsense. And so I still had that rub and I was going, what is this? Why can I not fully own that, even though I know that's what it is? And then having a conversation with someone that explained, no, let's expand on that. Yes, they lured people through, but they had to go through like a gauntlet to get to the other side of the riches, and only the brave survived. And that's when I got about the temple that yes, many may come to the door, but only a few will get through the thing, and that's who you need to serve, the ones that are really, like you said, deep in devotion to her. It's not for everyone right now at that level of understanding because the ancestors are ready to reveal, but only to those that will keep their wisdom sacred and
Yes,
intact and not indoctrinate it and water it and utilize it for their own benefit and gain. It's not about us. It's
yes,
about a bigger picture. And
yes.
so, um, yeah, It's
That's so beautiful. You described that so well. And see, and for me, that's it. I need to hear it from somebody else other than myself sometimes, you know?
mhm,
That's why I'm like, I'm so excited. I learned the phrase in the nation that they say, I want for my sister what I want for myself.
mhm.
And I want this to be successful for you and
Thank you so
for
much.
us, because it's not just for you, it's for us,
No, it's
for the
for us.
oracles. It's for the
Yeah.
oracles to rise.
Mhm,
And if you're watching us and you're hearing and you're getting your goosebumps or your belly is leaping, it's because you know that it's time for you to rise.
mhm.
It's time. It's time to stop being on the fence. That's been my message. Get off the
Yeah.
fence.
Go.
Have to get off the fence. You got to be all in. But when you come all in for her, the way that she comes all in for you is the
Mm,
desires of your heart come to you with ease. And sometimes we're addicted to struggle.
yes.
Even me. There are times like I'm in a process of closing on a home and I just got so anxious. And then this fell in place and that fell in place. And I kept hearing her say, it doesn't have to be hard.
Mhm.
Have to worry anymore
Yes.
about
Mhm.
that. And
Yeah.
oh my goodness, there's just so much, so many ways that she continues to show up in my life. Even the other day, Coco, I was because I've been really busy, with my work. And I was trying to think of something in terms, I need to post. I haven't posted online. I need to post. I need to post, because these social media
Mhm.
platforms have you on the clock.
Yeah.
You work for them in order for people to see you. Anyway, so I heard her, she rose up and said, it's time for you to lead with me. You,
Mm,
you, I, and I literally had to record it because it was another chide and I could feel the pull and stretching because I've always been a voice that was before my time.
mm. I
I've
can.
always been a voice that spirit could see the translation between where I am or where I was rather and where I want to be. And so sometimes I would get feedback all the time that I was so deep. Oh, you're so deep. Oh, I don't get it. It's so deep. And then it's like, what? I felt like I was just talking regular.
Mhm.
And even spiritual people, spiritual conscious communities don't go deep. They don't go deeper. It's just another transactional thing to do sometimes.
Mhm.
So when she tells me that, I'm outing myself, by the way, everybody that's watching, I'm outing myself because then that holds me accountable, right? To say, she's saying, lead with me, lead in every chance you get. You wake up and speak on that. I've supported and championed other women. Like I found women on TikTok and I'm like, oh, they're talking about, and I'm in their comments, I'm supporting.
Mhm.
She was like, no, 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 it's time now for you. Microphone. And I do, but she's saying in another way, like she's
Mhm.
calling on me in another way.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. It was like for me, it was like you said, I pop up every now and again, write a post because it's like she's nudging me to do, and it's like, no, you need to call the women together and you need to be speaking out that you need to be doing this, that, and it's like, oh my God, okay. It is her way or no way right now. And that's not in a bad way because it is her will be done. That's what I have surrendered to. Her will be done. And yeah, it makes me quite teary
It
actually,
is.
that I've got to that point.
Let her will be done in me,
Yeah,
as me, and through me.
yeah. Hmm.
Let her will be done on earth. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You can feel it right in your heart that this is what this is about. There can be no other. And I never thought that I would get to this place of like just deep surrender and deep just devotion in every single part of my being that she comes first
Woo,
and I follow. And
woo. Yeah.
and and not in a sacrificial way.
Oh
Because
no.
God Almighty, did I put myself through some like sacrifice portals and like trying to like fathom out? And it's like, no, this is not this is not about sacrifice. This is not even about service. This is about devotion. This is about something rising in you because you know that we it's a co-creation with her.
Yes.
We are as powerful as her, as in we are transmitting the frequency of her. So we
Mhm.
have to own and claim that. And,
Yes.
and and in a way that's not egotistical or like or humble or down to her, that we came from her seed.
Yes. And
And so we are her.
we are her. We are. And that's hard because sometimes because it comes with so much power. And
Mm,
when you are humble, you don't ever want to appear in ego. At least I
hmm
feel it that way. Um, and every initiation, every reading, she comes through with messages for me. And so I'm in a sacred partnership with them.
hmm
For me, also it comes through the Orishas as well.
Please speak on that because I'll tell you a story after you do. Go on.
Okay. So I'm an initiated priest. When I talked about initiation, um, there the pantheon knows only about I'd say 12, 10 to 12 major orishas.
Hmm
Um, and then when you go through you look at who your mother and your father is in initiation. Well, before you're initiated, you can find who is your mother and your father. Well, my father is Obatala, the maker of all heads, right? But my mother is Yemoya,
Oh, of course.
the source of all
Mm,
life
mm,
is Yemoya.
mm,
So that's sky and water.
mm,
And yet at the same time, when you start to do this work, right, there's a certain way other orishas speak, right? So needless to say, other mothers were speaking in my sacred text because you get a sacred text that walks with you for life. And basically what I would do for one, I have to do for all of the mothers in the court because they're so prominent.
mhm,
So I can't ignore them in my work, in my devotion, in my acknowledgement. So even though Yemoya is the mother of life, that's why she's the ocean.
mhm,
Um, some traditions call her Mami Wata or that type of thing. But in that there I do things for both, for the fierceness of Oya, who governs the marketplace, and the storm and transformation. She walks with me. She's a part of me. But Oshun is honey. She's the sweetness, but she's also fierceness. She's a fierce warrior. A lot of people only focus on her seduction and her attraction, like we talked about in the beginning.
mhm,
Everybody wants the sensuality and the the spell binding effect on people, but she's so much more. And even that, and let me tell you, this is what's so ironic. I didn't know this, right? I have since learned after being fully initiated, because there's several initiations, that the Ifa Odu is a woman.
mm. Oh wow.
It is the mother.
Oh wow.
The Odu of divination is the mother.
Mm. Don't you just love how the pieces come? It's like you're never shown the whole picture, right? And it comes in like dribs and drabs, and then when you get to there, it's like, oh, there's always the mother.
Always. She was
It's
always
always
here. Like
it's
I,
always here.
yes, even
Yeah.
when, growing up as a little girl, do you remember this or can you relate to this? Tell me, and anybody, if they're watching later in the comments, Hail Mary, full of grace, the
Hmm.
Lord is with thee. Blessed
Um,
art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of her womb. Come,
mm,
Jesus or Christ consciousness.
mhm,
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. That's the Hail Mary prayer that many people grow up praying as little girls. Hail Mary. Now, in the Islamic tradition, she's called Maryam.
mhm,
And many mosques are named Mariam and who she is. And even when the Muslims go to do the sacred pilgrimage, the Hajj, they take their pilgrimage there and they're going around the black tomb that's shaped in the form of the mother, the womb, the black womb, to be specific.
Oh wow, I'm having an out of body experience. Off into the stratosphere. It's like my mind's just exploded.
Everywhere. She's everywhere.
Just what you said, but when you said the word grace, I was like, oh my God, because this has been coming through so strong that the next phase is to bask on the grace of God and bring that into full fruition. And so my middle name, Oya, as you know, Orisha, she came, oh my God, before all this happened, I took her name on because she initiated me, because she came at a point in my life when I just had no rudder. I did not know what, and she just appeared. I did not know who she was. And she just said, would you like me to help transform your life? Little did I know that it's like the like tornado that rips through your life. I was like, I just said yes to anything at that point. And so I went through God, the deepest initiation of unraveling with her. And then at the end, she said I could don her name.
Oh,
But my
wow.
surname, Sienna Ray, means on the grace of God's ray. And
Oh,
so grace has been really prominent in the last month around this is the key line of grace that we are following when we follow the mother, like Mother
mhm.
Mary,
Yes,
full of grace.
yes.
The mother is full of so much grace and yeah, wants to impart that on us because, as you said, we are all being brought back to the womb. And whether we want to believe that or not, it's everywhere if we choose to look
Mhm, mhm.
beneath the story.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, truly is.
This has
Oh,
been
wow.
so rich. This is so rich, so rich, so
Mm.
rich. And
Yeah. So,
yeah,
as we're coming kind of to a close,
yes,
is there
yes.
anything that you'd like that you feel is left unsaid that you feel that people need to hear, or what parting wisdom would you like to give?
I would say that coming into sacred process in a safe space to explore the messages of your feminine is not a one-time event. One workshop, one experience
Mm.
is not enough.
Hmm.
In order for us to stay sane and well, this is our mental health. We have to stay connected in the ancient arts that keep us um, 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 as like shape shifters,
Mm-hmm.
where the scripture says, where I'm in it, but I'm not of it. And oh, this is the word, cloaking. Some of us need to be able to cloak in and out of spaces until we're ready to stand fully in her.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to cloak when you stand fully in who she is and who she's called you to be. Oftentimes, the daughters who are called to the mother have had the greatest amount of heartbreak and
Yeah,
pain.
true.
Oftentimes, we've had that rejection, that prodigal experience, the disassociation being the black sheep of our families, so that we could be available to something greater.
Mm-hmm.
Because had we still had the cords connected to other people's approval, we would just stay at a certain level.
Mm-hmm.
We had to be able to hear and be available for this, for a time and a season such as this, so that when we stand alone, we're not really alone.
Mm-hmm.
But when we stand together, we're even more powerful. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
mean that in any woo-woo way. I say this when women call women together, they're bringing all of their baggage and their stuff with them. So, but we need to have the same kind of love, patience, and forbearance with one another that's not violent, of course, um,
Mm-hmm.
that we would give to men that we tolerate, or lovers, and not just men, but lovers, or the excuses that we make for these political parties. We
Mm-hmm.
see that they don't love us, but yet you still go out and you campaign. Why not campaign for the mother in you? Why not campaign for the sacredness in you? Why not campaign for the part of her that's been hidden? Because I want to end just by saying to you, sis, who's watching, you are the Holy Grail.
Mm-hmm.
You are the Holy Grail. And if you're listening, say it to yourself. I am the Holy Grail. And if you don't know what that means, go research it. There's been movies made about the Holy Grail.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been writings and people who've gone through sex and initiations and all sex, CETS, not sex. And initiations, because you, sis, are the Holy Grail.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to break the spell of amnesia on you. That's
Yeah.
what's funny is that we have to break it on ourselves, and sacred process helps us to break it. Pain
Mm-hmm.
will push us. Mhm. Pain will push you at first, but pleasure will pull you through.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that. Oh my God. Yeah. I just want to just pick up on one point when you said that it's not a one-time done deal.
Mm-mm.
And it's not either seeking peak experiences
No, no.
on a weekend. Say, do you know, this is, like you said, a devotion and a calling.
Mhm.
It is a calling, it is a divine assignment, you
Yes.
know.
Ashe.
We embody that and embrace that. Yeah.
Ashe.
Oh my God. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you.
So please tell people how they can follow, find you, you know, get
Oh,
more
so
involved in your
I'm
work.
on all platforms. I'm Rebirth with LaTonia. Rebirth with LaTonia, LaTonia. Rebirth with LaTonia. Also, I want if you feel led to get my book,
Hmm.
check out my book, My Juicy Rebirth, right? A journey of healing the feminine through pleasure and sacred process. Um, and surely other books are on the way. And you can always go to rebirthwithlatonia.info for more information. And I look forward to us getting together and doing something
Yeah.
sacred. I'm going to have you on my podcast, but I want you, I know I'm coming to England.
I also want to ask you a little request because part of the process of doing these podcasts is I'm bringing together like round tables of women, and I'd love you to be in one that I've got in mind that you'd fit perfectly in with. Another two Black sisters who are just so your vibe. I'd love that. I'd love that to call you back in to do
Yes,
the
and same
show.
here, same. And I want to
Yeah.
have your voice, your work, your book, and all of that. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
in my processes.
Oh, thank you so much. And I will put all the links to LaToya's beautiful offerings and work, and her book is so juicy as well,
Thank
um,
you.
in the show notes. Thank you
Thank
so much.
thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me on Sirens of the Mother, podcast where we wax lyrical about all things mother, from the divine to the downright dirty.